Welcome everyone to another Soundstage Talks. Today I'm here with Daryl Wilson from Wilson Audio. Welcome, Daryl.
It's a pleasure to be here, Edgar. Thank you for having me.
Daryl, today we will be talking about the Watt Puppy, the 50th anniversary. And I wanted to start off by asking about Wilson Audio's and the Watt Puppy's remarkable journey, starting from a garage in the Wilson home to what Wilson Audio is today as one of the leaders in the high-end audio space. And that's kind of the American dream. So with that in mind, how did you balance the emotions attached to designing this iconic labor of love by Daryl Wilson, and how did you balance that with the more pragmatic and technical aspects of designing the new speaker?
Yeah, great question. The original Watt Puppy went on for 8 series. 8 different versions were introduced. The first Watt Puppies were created really as tools for my father as a recording engineer. He had a situation where he went to a session and did a recording, brought the master tapes home, listened to them on the WAMs, and realized that what he heard was not what he recorded, and the way that he EQ'd, and he trusted the monitors there at the recording session. Mm-hmm. So my mom had been kind of prodding him and saying, hey, you should make something a little loudspeaker, something that speaks the same language as the WAM, something that has the same fidelity as the WAM, but smaller. Because at the time, they were selling LPs, Dave Wilson recordings, Wilson Audio File recordings, and the WAM. So there was a big gap there, sure. It shows. They were selling LPs and then promoting the WAM. So he got to work making something that he would first use as a tool at recording sessions. And to make a long, wonderful story short, it became a commercial success. And it did, in fact, speak the same kind of accuracy that he demanded from the WAM, but in a smaller package.
Okay. So as far as sound quality with the new Watt Puppy, was there a particular past series, a past version of the Watt Puppy that was inspirational in terms of your targets for this new product, or was it a case of just trickling down some of the performance aspects from the Sasha V and models above that?
Yeah. When one looks at the Watt Puppy, our new version, you see iconic lines that are present in the Watt Puppy 5.1. The Watt Puppy 6, 7, and 8, you notice on the woofer, it gets these blades that hide the space underneath the Watt and the top of the Puppy. Yeah. But I wanted it to go back before the 6, 7, and 8. I love the simplicity of the lines on the Watt Puppy 5 and 5.1. So I took those lines, and as a team, we looked at what are we able to do from an engineering perspective, and how can we distill down the evolution of design, the evolution of individual component refinement into a smaller package. The idea for the Watt Puppy was a distilled version and a smaller version of the Sasha V. A lot of people have expressed their love for the Sasha V and have a lot of respect for the rest of the line upwards. But as the products get bigger, rooms out of necessity need to be a little bit bigger to house, large speakers. And you think Sure. about apartments or homes in New York or in Japan, in places in London, where you don't have a lot of real estate. The actual floor space, the square footage of the space in your listening room has more value than really the systems that people are putting in them. So the idea is how do you pack as much performance into a smaller package? So it really wasn't an exercise of distilling that evolution. And so you see the same driver complements as is found in the Sasha V. You see the same crossover components that you see in the Sasha V, in the Alexi V, in the Alex V, and the XVX. And what's unique about the Sasha V is the copper capacitors that we used in the tweeter section of the crossover.
Sure.
And so we took what we learned there and we refined that capacitor a little bit more. And so the Watt Puppy has a capacitor that no other product has. And so it's a Sasha V distilled down to a smaller footprint that has the iconic lines of the Watt Puppy 5.
Yeah, fully agree and understand what you're saying, because it is a small architecture in terms of the physical size of it, but in terms of performance, it has phenomenal bass output and extension, plus it's a very, very dynamic speaker.
Isn't it amazing how much sound and the size of the sound stage that we're able to get with such a small package?
It's incredible. Yeah. Excellent work there. I just wanted to go on and if you could just explain a little bit about the challenges that you may have had in terms of adapting current cabinet materials and current driver technology into that architecture, the Watt Puppy architecture.
Yeah, the first thing that fans of Wilson Audio will notice, if you look at the side profile of a Watt Puppy 5 and the Watt, the slope back of the Watt was more aggressive and tilted back a little bit more. If you remember, we were using the inverted titanium dome tweeter.
Correct.
And the off-axis characteristics of that one were more favorable than the silk dome tweeter that we're using now.
Sure.
So as we prefer the linearity, the extension, and the naturalness of the silk dome tweeter, we moved away from the inverted titanium dome tweeter and how it was made back then. That necessitated us to take the Watt baffle and bring it a little bit more forward so we can get more on access with the listener. So I'd say that was the biggest challenge. And when you move the tweeter forward, the acoustical center of the tweeter and the acoustical center of the mid-range relative to the woofer and how we build in time alignment correction and adaptability for your room, that I'd say was the biggest challenge. The rest is just blending the components and making sure that everything works together and sounds seamless. The architecture really did benefit from the materials we're using now, the third generation X material that we're using, as well as the V material on the top of the woofer, and the S material in the baffle. All of the materials and everything in the Watt Puppy is completely different than it was back when we had, I think in 2009, the Watt Puppy 8. And so I've been asked, so what's the same? And really, if you think about it, it's the diameter of the drivers that we use. 1-inch tweeter, 7-inch mid-range, 2 8-inch woofers. Those are all different. The materials are different. The architecture and the internal bracing strategy and structure, the way that we build our point-to-point connection crossovers, the internal cabling, the connectors, the feet, spikes, everything about it is different than an 8 and new. And for us and for me personally, that was really exciting. I had talked with my dad, and us as an R&D team had talked with my dad while he was alive, and we had talked about potentially bringing out a new version of Watt Puppy. And while he was alive, he passed in 2018. And while he was alive, there were new things we could make and reintroduce a Watt Puppy, but the Sasha platform was still getting its legs, and we were still developing that. And so I've been looking for an opportunity to do this. Having our own capacitor manufacturing in-house at Wilson Audio, what we've learned with every other element, it was time. The V material and how we've developed capacitors, the internal cabling, the materials, everything that we're using. It felt like the right time to authentically bring back an iconic shape and do it in a way that would pay homage and really honor, the beginning of the Watt history, a tool to get an accurate reproduction of what's being recorded.
Sure. So going back to time, actually, so obviously the Watt Puppy came about as a result of design tools of the time. now with advanced measurement and computer-aided, design and advanced software and so on, was there something that you particularly wanted to analyze about the Watt Puppies, something that stood out in terms of, okay, now with these modern tools, we can actually improve this? Was there something like that in the design process?
Yeah, going back to capacitors, the way that we manufacture capacitors and the tolerances and the sonic results of the work that we put into it, that's exciting. I'd say that wasn't the biggest challenge, though. Going back to time alignment and getting time alignment better, the tools that we're using now are different than the tools we were using back when the original Watt Puppy series was in production. So it gave us an opportunity to reevaluate and to create the alignment differential between the tweeter and the mid-range relative to the woofers in a way that is more accurate than that series has ever been.
Because I noticed that
starting off in that place.
Sorry, I was going to say, I noticed that the current Watt Puppy base module, the Puppy itself, has a slight angle to the front baffle, where before it was more of a straight baffle. So obviously that's something in terms of blending and making the sound more coherent and more time coherent.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great observation. The woofer module does lean back. It's not perpendicular to the ground like the classic Watt Puppy series. So starting off, we did measurements and we were able to model it out and then bring that model and create some prototypes and then test and make sure that what's translating into reality matches or is similar to what we were modeling in the digital realm. So we were able to fine tune the relative location of all the drivers to get the time alignment right before we really finished the sculpting of the actual enclosures. It was a really fun exercise.
Yeah.
Fun project. The team recognized the significance of it too. The team knew that this would be a product that would be finished during our 50th anniversary. And what a way to celebrate 50 years of really anything. You think about anything that lasts 50 years, a marriage, a company, whatever it is, right?
Deserves celebration.
That lasts,
yeah.
and you play, yeah. It really is a wonderful way of celebrating our history, our roots, and honoring really a legend. And I can say that my mom is very pleased with what we were able to create, and it's an honor to do what we're doing and release this product during the 50th.
Terrific. Well, okay. Well, last thing about the Watt Puppy. So, with this great celebration on the 50th anniversary, is the Watt Puppy going to be an ongoing model in the Wilson Audio lineup?
Yes. It is officially a part of Wilson Audio's stable and lineup. The Yvette was officially retired. It's a legacy product now when the Watt Puppy was released, and so you have the Sabrina X, and then the Watt Puppy, and then Sasha B, and so on and so forth. So it's right there as an upgrade path from those who love the Sabrina, that want to get a little bit more time alignment, adjustability in the system, and maybe don't have enough room for a Sasha B, and they want the performance of such a speaker.
Fantastic. We look forward to the ongoing Watt Puppy, and the legend continues. Thank you, Daryl, for today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.